I don't have a bulletin, I say the Our Father wrong. So, all right, let's see your fingers. All right, good work. We're part of a secret club. Those of you who don't know aren't going to know. But us who do know, we know. Well, it's good to be back. You guys seem to have a good week. And, Dave, that's cool. I have nothing profound to say. I live my life the best I can, and I try to honor Jesus the best I can. And I try to remember to pray. Luckily, I have a job where I get to read the Bible. Otherwise, I couldn't promise. Even with a job where you have to read the Bible, I still have a voice that says you don't do it enough, or you don't pray enough, or all that other stuff that for some reason shows up in your mind. And I still haven't figured that one out, how that got in there, those voices. But, what can you do? You just, you deal with them. It's kind of the way what can you do? What can you do with the voices in your head that accuse you of stuff? That act, like you could be a better you. I think that's the whole scheme of somebody's fanning themselves. Liz, you just don't know how happy that makes me. Me and Doug went over how to keep, there's no heat in this room. It's 38 degrees last night. So luckily me and Doug came together, put those two great minds together, and we figured out a way. We used our thoughts, instead of the negative thoughts, we used our thoughts to figure out a way to make this room bearable. Doug, we did it. Congratulations to us. Anyway, if anybody has an idea about that thought thing, you can come see me. I'll write a book. I'll make $1 million, and I might share a little with you. But right now, we're just going to pray for a minute, pray for the service, pray to learn. The goal is really to get the negative thoughts out of your head, or at least tame them so that you don't believe what they're telling you. So we can start off with some prayer. If you'd like to join me in saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Okay, we're going to sing hymn number 275 in your book. If you would like to sing along, you're free to stand up if you'd like to. No, you're good. I can't follow that intro. Start strumming and hacking away. Amen.
Good morning. Welcome to Speed Memorial. Glad to have you. Thanks for being here. As you can see, I'm filling in for Rick Baker for a bit. If anybody knows about the yard sale incident, Rick had to take Becky on a nice vacation. How long that vacation will last, only Becky knows. So I'll be up here until she gives him permission to bring her home. As a representative of the Fund Committee, I want to start by thanking everybody that was involved with yesterday's event, the Fall Festival. We had ghouls and goblins from around the community. They seemed to have a great time. So if you were participating in that, thanks for being there. I think the kids really appreciated it. Some creative costumes, and I think fun was had by all. We have pictures available. This is the group picture from the 100th anniversary celebration. These will be available as well as others. There's more samples in the history room. See Lana after the service, and you can purchase your own copy. It looks like they've X'd me out of the back. I'm not really sure what. Andrea and Sandy have brought in some more crafts for the craft event. If you're going to do a craft for the Christmas auction, Christmas tree auction at the Cookie Walk, see them after service. They'll have more crafts available or supplies available at no cost in the history room as well. You can see behind me, Doug Couch has been busy. We have new lattice up here that look amazing. Thank you, Doug, for your work there. It's a work in progress, I'm told, but this is an amazing start, so thanks, Doug. Birthdays coming up this week, October 17th. We have Jack Myers, 21 years old, I'm told. October 20th, we have Phyllis Travis. Donna, you want to fire up the band? Evidently Rick Baker is watching on Facebook, and he sent me a message of thank you, so I appreciate that, Rick. Prayer list. Please keep those on our prayer list in your prayers. Offerings. You can drop your offerings off at the boxes at each entrance exit to the church. And with that concludes my messages. We can commence with service.
Unfortunately, May is in your bulletin as going to share today, but she doesn't feel good. So she will do that at another time. Claire is leaving right now. Whenever I start talking, it's like an instinctive impulse thing. And so, like the Pied Piper, if anybody wants to follow her. Yeah, no, I always recommend following her. Look at the slide you got to deal with. Just give me a second to do this. I really should just talk into the microphone. My iPad still isn't connecting to the computer, so I got my computer with me. And somehow I'll get organized. Please, this is not a sign of disrespect. Actually, when I was young, I threw a Bible across the stage. I was dealing with a group of people that worshiped the Bible but not Jesus and didn't love each other. So I said, you have as much chance to be... I did John 5:37, where Jesus says, you know what? You studied the scriptures looking for eternal life, but guess what? You're not going to find it there. I'm standing right in front of you. So I channeled that and I threw it across the stage, and I still get people talking to me today, 17 years later. That was so disrespectful. I go, I know. What's more disrespectful, how you treat people or how you treat the Bible? So I leave you with that lingering question. Negative thoughts. Last week 2 weeks ago, we talked about seeing and hearing. And I think hearing is appropriate in this case, but we all see the results of negative thoughts. And we all hear the results in our head. We hear negative thoughts in our head. And by observation, we can see what the world turns into when we follow negative thoughts. It's like a fire, James said. James said your tongue is like a little spark. Starts great fires. And we're very happy to share negative thoughts with each other. And I'm included. I'm not saying you guys. Please, if you know me, you know I'm the king of negative thoughts. But at the same time, he said, you know what, if you could control your tongue, you would be perfect. And I thought, wow. It seems like it would be really easy. But it seems, I guess, he thought it was really hard. And so, just wanted to explore negative thoughts today. And of course, they'll be peppered in with positive thoughts because you don't want to just look at one. Do you know what a negative thought is? I mean, honestly, and that's not a rhetorical question. In your mind, you all have your own thoughts. You all, I'm assuming, have counter to positive thoughts that come into your mind. And the question kind of is, what is a thought? Is an instinct a thought? Is an inclination a thought? Is a temptation a thought? Is anger a thought? Is lust a thought? Is greed a thought? Joy? Those kind of things? I mean, what is a thought? What is a thought? I mean, we use the word thought a lot, I think. And they say, Paul said in Philippians 4:8, he said, think about these things. I guess the act of thinking produces thoughts, whatever thoughts are, however you define them. We could look to sociologists and philosophers and stuff to try to define them. Is love your neighbor a thought? You know, it seems like there'd be something that is worth thinking about in terms of your existence. You know, for me, and I know I got a personality type that sets that, it is I get tired of some of the things that come into my head that pose as thoughts and that are thoughts that I didn't ask for, did not want that thought in my head, did not want to think that way. Is not my goal to think along the path that those thoughts offer me, and yet they're there in my head. Uninvited. No reason for them. And our imagination, which is the key to our whole existence, actually plays into that. And it's odd to me that if you ask me what a thought is, I don't think I could nail down a definition. I still behave consistently with what I want to believe are honorable thoughts. But even then, shoot, sometimes I'm totally on the wrong path. But, so I don't think it's so much a thought is like the one thought, it's like a mindset. It's like a mindset that produces thoughts. And you work in accordance with your mindset to think of behaviors and ways to express yourself to the world that reveal, whether intentionally or not, what your thoughts are. We can kind of see the mindset of people, but the thoughts are harder to see. I'm guessing your thought is you want to prove yourself, or my thought, why I did something is I want to prove myself honorably, or for whatever reason, I want people to respect me, things like that. But it's just, seems like the world's kind of torn apart right now. Seems like culture, like anger. I have kids on the bus that, it's like, dude, why are you so angry? You're in second grade. Why are you so willing to argue with everybody? And I think it's just a product of our human nature, this need to define ourselves apart from each other. So I think I'm going to go through 5 quick mindsets that I think produce thoughts that I don't know if it's best or not. Perfectionism is a mindset. Like there's something perfect in the world. Like there's something perfect that you can find. This is not a perfect church. We don't say perfect prayers. We don't sing perfect songs. We don't understand the Bible perfectly. We don't understand Jesus perfectly. We don't understand each other perfectly. The room is not perfect. Nothing about the setup is perfect. Nothing about the order of service is perfect. Nothing. Because there is no perfect. There's stuff that we like, and we can shut ourselves off to think that what we like is perfect and the way it should be, but it's not. It's just what you like. Dude sitting next to you likes something completely different. So how could it be perfect? How could it be perfect? I say to people who believe in Jesus, I say, you're perfect the way you are. And they stumble over that. I'm not perfect. Yeah, I know. You believe in Jesus. Duh. In Hebrews 10, on your sheet, it says, Jesus offered himself to God as a single sacrifice for sins, good for all time. And all time means the time that we're in right now, and beyond and before. Then he sat down in the place of honor at God's right hand. That's the position of authority. There he waits until his enemies are humbled and made a footstool under his feet, and people are not his enemies. We don't fight against flesh and blood. For by that one offering, he forever made perfect those who are being made holy. And the path that you're on when you believe Jesus, and the thoughts that occur in your head when they provoke you to believe in Jesus and to follow what he taught, make you perfect. You're on the perfect path. You're not perfect. You're not perfect as yourself. Your perfection is found in Jesus, who was perfect, who died and rose from the dead. So because we're not perfect, and because we are engaged in worship, that this form of worship was established thousands of years ago, and we have added to it and modernized it at some level. It's not a perfect way to celebrate Jesus. How can it be? It's not in the Bible. Where did I throw it? Oh yeah, right there. Can't be. But yet we'll fight about it. We fight about what we like, what we want. That proves our imperfection, because all we care about is ourselves. and that's not perfect. And that's why we are human. And that's why Jesus is perfect. And what makes us perfect is Jesus. And that's why perfectionism is because you set all your goals to be perfect. You think that there's something to achieve greater than your existence or greater than what Jesus did. And there is, if you want to make more money or if you want to win a race or something, that's all good, nothing bad. But to claim that it was you it's you doing the running and the racing, but you offer the glory to God. That's what athletes do when they're pointing up to heaven. I'm assuming the good in it. It's like, this is something beyond me. Something's more perfect than I am. And so it's a negative mindset to think that something is perfect. It leads to anger, it leads to division. Jesus is perfect. Nothing we do is perfect. Another mindset that might interest you is rabbit holes. And so here's the situation here on this. That's me and May. It's May's birthday. I'm going to bake a cake for her. I have a week to do it. But I got to get the right candles. The most important thing is getting those candles. On Amazon, they didn't have the candles that said happy birthday and all the different colors, not the size I wanted. I went to CVS to look for it, and they didn't have it either. I went to Walmart, which has everything, they didn't have it. Sam's Club, Target, nobody had the dang candles. I finally wound up driving 5 states over to, what is 5 states here? Like, I don't know, Pennsylvania, northern part, something. They had it there at that Walmart, and I got back, and then the day of her birthday, with 4 hours remaining, I said, oh yeah, I got to bake the cake. That's rabbit holing. The cake probably would have deserved a little more time. You know what I mean? And then when you look at what you've created, you go, wow. Maybe I was on a rabbit hole. Maybe I was chasing the wrong thing. Because we get confused. In church, it becomes little doctrines and little rituals and little things that we don't. Why do we hang green flags on there? What does a liturgical color actually mean? Anybody, right now, talk out loud. What I mean, where in the Bible does it warrant us putting up green right now? I can't find it, so I was hoping someone else had an idea about why. It's a nice splash of color, I ain't gonna lie. On an easel of white, a little flash of green, red, purple, who cares? That's the whole point. That's a rabbit hole. Your version of the Bible, the songs you sing, the way you do things, the pews, the this, the that, all the arguing that goes on in the world is one big rabbit hole. Love God, love your neighbor. That's what Jesus taught. Matthew 23, Jesus was talking to some hyper-religious people who absolutely knew the law better than me or you or anybody will ever know it. They grew up on it. And he said, what sorrows await you, teachers of religious law, and you Pharisees, hypocrites? And he wouldn't say that today because we know now that calling somebody a hypocrite is insensitive. For you are careful to count even the tiniest income from your gardens, your herb gardens, but you ignore the more important aspects of the law, justice, mercy, and faith. See, the most important things in any law, in any relationship that's human, that isn't perfect, is justice, mercy, and faith. That's all that matters. Love. Faith, hope, and love. Everything else is a rabbit hole. If you argue about anything except faith, hope, and love, you're just playing a game what I like, what I want, the way I see it, the way I think it should be. Nobody else has the answer but me. I'm the one that God has given the answers to, and I'm more than happy to tell you exactly what those answers are. I mean, that's what I hear. And I smile because I do the same thing. In the context, we're all ready to argue for what we think is right. That's part of being the imperfect humans that we are. And it's a negative mindset. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. You just got to smile. Because the most important thing is that we resolve to love. That we agree to differ. And that we unify to serve. Right? I mean, that's what we kind of all live by. That's our credo. Unless it's important. But rabbit holing can be negative. Another negative thought is an unrealistic expectations. Like we think that church and following God is this straight line. Reality is like you start to follow Jesus, get ready for the bumps and the turns and the falls and all of that. That's what it is. They crucified Jesus. He said, you're going to have so much trouble following me in this world, you're not even going to believe it. They look what they did to me. Just imagine what they're going to do to you, is what he said. That's what following Jesus is, confusion. Because you have an opponent. You have an opponent. Unless you're intentionally decided, I'm going to follow Jesus as a slave. And even then, peace. 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 Calm. Knowing that Jesus told the truth and that he's coming back. Knowing that Jesus rose from the dead. Matthew 16, it's 21 through 23, 3 verses. It says, from then on, and this was on he's at some point in his life, and Jesus began to tell his disciples plainly that it was necessary for him to go to Jerusalem, and that he would suffer many terrible things at the hands of the elders, the leading priests, and the teachers of the religious law. It's the same three characters that are still playing in our lives today. He would be killed, but on the third day, he would be raised from the dead. So there is a happy ending to what he's telling them. You know, he's saying, this is going to be bad, but guess what? Happy ending. But Peter, that wasn't good enough for him. He took him aside and began to reprimand him for saying such things. Heaven forbid, Lord. I like how he calls him Lord while he's reprimanding him. Just totally Peter. This will never happen to you. Jesus turned to Peter and gently said, get away from me, Satan. You're a dangerous trap to me. Don't you think this is hard enough without you trying to make my life comfortable, to make my life what you think it should be? Don't you think it's hard enough for me to deal with what I have to do? You're a trap. You're seeing things merely from a human point of view, not God's. Peter had unrealistic expectations of what a Messiah does, of who God is, and how God interacts with the world, and how God interacts in your life. Very unrealistic expectations, and he was actually tempting Jesus to give up what was true and real with him, like he's going to stand in and protect Jesus from everybody. No, Lord, this isn't the way it's going to play out. He had unrealistic expectations. Everybody did. I'm just picking on Peter because he's fun to pick on, especially after seeing how good looking he is in The Chosen. It's like he has full head of hair and the whole thing. Big muscles. I'm like, I hate that guy. I had unrealistic expectations on how I should look. You know what I mean? It says that God is looking for those that will worship him in spirit and in truth. How true is how we worship Jesus? How spiritual is it? And I'm not talking to you like I got this figured out. I'm letting you see the questions I ask myself. How true is this? it seems there's a philosophy when you're mixing stuff, audio. There's ways to learn it. You can see somebody mixing it who's really good, and you go, well, what number did you put that at? Where did you put the dial? How far along you're asking questions about thinking you can recreate what he did, and you never ask why. Never ask why. Why do you put a compressor on music? Why do our churches look like this? Did we just try to copy something? Because I look in the Bible for a place where it says align your pews and stuff your rooms with them and do this stuff and do that stuff, and I cannot find it. And then I think to myself, well, how did it get like this? Because I read about people eating and falling out of windows and singing songs and like around the table drinking too much wine. I mean, I just see this joyous, amazing getting together and loving each other and worshiping Jesus. And I go, it must be in a secret Bible somewhere, buried in the archives of the Vatican, guarded by people, right? Because that's conspiracy theory number one, is that we don't know enough to figure out for ourselves how we need to worship Jesus and love each other. So we put, I think, unrealistic expectations on God, that he expects us to act like this. And we think the straighter and the more docile we can be, the farther we can get away from reality. Because we don't want to go crazy and follow Jesus too hard. We'll go nuts. Seems like it, and it seems like unrealistic expectations just inherently and logically lead to negative mindsets, and thereby negative thoughts, and thereby interruptions in all our relationships. Another one would be relying on possessions, producing negative thoughts. And this is supposed to be a TV commercial. I don't know if it is or not. The image is free, so you got to work with what you got. But it looks like a TV commercial to me. And of course, the basis of all advertising is that if you have our product, you will be a happier person. And we rely on that. We rely on their lies. Them telling us that I will tell you what makes you happy. This is what makes you happy. And we rely on that. The skills pay the bills is the old motto, but you know what? The better the equipment, too. It's a great golf thing. I keep buying golf sets going, you know what? With this titanium hammer the heck out of the ball driver, I'm going to hit it 500 yards now. And it still hits the dude behind me when I swing, I don't know. But I do it more expensively and more beautifully. When I swing the club, the result's the same, but the club looks awesome. Negative thoughts. There's nothing that you possess that you can rely on that doesn't burn or get flooded or disappear or get old. It's just life. And even if the thing doesn't get old, you get old. And so relying on possessions produces negative thoughts. It produces misunderstandings. It produces relationships that are fragile, more fragile than they already are, because somebody else is relying on possessions and another person's trying to rely on confusion, and we're both trying to love each other. And these are just thoughts that come out of it. And the last one, placing the blame. Oh, wait, I have to go back and read the scripture from, I'm not allowed to do that. God just told me, hey, you missed a spot. 24 in Matthew 16, Jesus said to the disciples, if any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take your cross, and follow me. Show of hands. This is so crystal. Come on. The application of that in our lives, crystal clear, double hand, touchdown. Give up your own way. What kind of insanity is that? How can you do that? Even if you give up your own way to start to follow Jesus, isn't that now your own way? Just a thought. That's a thought I'm giving to you, much like when Eve, I don't think Eve was planning on doing bad. She's cruising around, enjoying the garden. Hey, what's up, snake? You know, they knew each other. Hey, what's going on? Hey, I heard you can't eat, you know. She was given a thought, something to chew on. I don't think God really has your best intentions at heart. I think that's, you know, and that's what that is, plain logically. It says, if you give up your life for my sake, Jesus said, you will save it. If you give up your life and your own way and pick up the cross, which is a way of slavery, you're done. I'm going to let Jesus guide me. If you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And here's one. If you benefit, what is going to benefit you if you gain the whole world but lose your soul? Is anything worth more than your soul? I don't think there is. And I don't have any answers for you other than what it just said. What is our own way? And I mean, what is, like, I have my own way and you have your own way, and when our own ways collide, what's the resolve? How do we fix that? What is your own way? You know what I mean? And we're going to start talking about gifts next week. And so you wonder about that. If God has given each of us a gift, how do you play that without without thinking that it's your doing it and the pressure, and you feel like it feels like death when you have to give up your own way. It feels like death when you have to step down, like you're under attack. We act and stressed and angered out when someone disagrees with us, because we think we're getting attacked, like there's a tiger ready to jump on us. Just odd to me. And it's my response. So that's the only reason. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just telling you to me, it feels like it's hard. It's hard. So now moving on. There you go. God, you happy now? Blaming others. I blame God. Placing the blame is just the easiest thing. It's Adam and Eve again. Hey, Adam, why'd you eat it? Well, my wife. It's that lady you gave me. She told me. Oh, okay. Eve, why'd you do it? Oh, it was that snake. He confused me. He said you weren't good, and I believed him. And blaming others. It's the elections. That's what makes me angry. It's all the things in the world that happen that are wrong, and these people who do it are bad. It's my way or the highway. Everybody's bad, bad, bad. They don't get it. I get it. They don't get it. There's only one way to live, and it's the way I live. There's only one speed to travel on the freeway, and it's the speed I travel. It's always something else. They're nailing Jesus to the cross, and he's forgiving people. It's like, forgive them, Father. I can barely get these words out because I'm bleeding out and I have nails in me, but forgive them, for they know not what they do. Perfect peace, perfect calm, perfect perspective. I get cut off on the road, and I got both middle fingers up, and I'm trying to run the dude off. That's how we play. Wow, he's not a good pastor. I never do things like that. It's like, don't lie to me. You're just afraid to. don't. You can't do that and drive a school bus. Not cool. But I can still cut you off. I got a bigger vehicle. It's never anything else. It's you. It's you. It's all in your heart and in your mind. That's what James says. He says, what's causing all the quarrels and fights among you? God, are you guys insane? Don't they come from the evil desires at war within you? Aren't you just revealing to the world how angry your brain and your heart are when you get angry, when you can't settle, when you can't have, if it's not your way, I'm leaving. You're just revealing yourself. I'm revealing myself. If I can't settle, if I can't have peace. All I'm telling you, when you see me all in a frustrated mess of Irish craziness, is that I'm not happy inside, not settled. I think it's on me. I want my way. And that turns out to be the biggest negative thought you can have. I just want it my way. I don't care about God. I don't care about you. I don't care about the world. I don't care about anything. I want it my way. Pick up the cross, pick up the shmash. I want it my way. Give up my own way, give up my own blah way. I want it my way. Follow Jesus, follow Shmeezus. I want it my way. And I'm the one who knows the proper way to go. That turns out to be the most negative thought in our heads. And funny enough, it turns out to be exactly what the forbidden tree of knowledge of good and evil is. It's you decide what's right and wrong. Each of you, independently. This silly Bible, it's like from beginning to end, talks just about Jesus and following Jesus. In fact, Jesus said that. All the laws, all the prophets, all the Psalms speak about me. He says, don't they come from the evil desires? Are desires thoughts? I don't know. I was hoping someone would raise their hand. Are desires thoughts? You want what you don't have, so you scheme and kill to get it. What can I do to make everybody want what I want? I'll start a coalition. I'll start talking really negative and angry to everybody. We don't do phones anymore. We text, right? Did you hear what that jerk said? And I'm going to, you know what? One's not enough. I'm going to two. That idiot, did you hear what he said? I'm going to go down to whoever's house. Oh, hi, I was just in the neighborhood. Oh, by the way, did you hear what that idiot said? And you just try to start this fire, this coalition, getting groups together, thinking that the more you are angry, the more you can get your way. And you're willing to use people. Right? That's how I do it. Ask Baker. Hey, Baker, I need this right now. I can't pastor a church that doesn't have 20 TVs on the stage. It's 2024. These people are idiots. Right? That's how some people see me. That's how some people see you. That's how we all see whoever we want to see, because we all want our way. Turns out our way is the evil thought in our head. That's so weird. You're jealous of what others have, whatever glory or respect or whatever, that means. Well, I get it. Shoot. I see someone throwing down $1 million in their bank account, and I'm like, dang. But I don't think about killing them. What good would that do? I don't think about even wanting that. But there's a part of me that goes, shoot, I know money doesn't bring you happiness, but I sure would like to give that a try. So you fight and wage war to take it away from them. Yet, you know what? You don't have what you want because you don't ask God for it. First of all, you're just relying on your own thoughts. And even when you ask, you don't get it because your motives are all wrong. You only want what will give you pleasure. That's the key to the whole thing. You only want what will give you pleasure. And it's pleasure if you get what you want. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. So until we meet again, remember the happy trail. See how I play with this every week? Love never gives up. Love never loses faith. Love is always hopeful. Love endures through every circumstance. That's love.